En la red del fútbol hay una lucha. Cloudflare es el escudo de las páginas que lo roban. Pero yo estoy furioso porque Tebas, director de la Liga, está jodiendo internet.
All right, so let's dive into this whole LaLiga and Cloudflare situation. We've got a ton of Spanish news articles, some legal analyses, and even a podcast with some cybersecurity and legal experts. So how did, Spain's top football league end up in this huge legal battle over internet freedom?
Well, what's interesting is this case really shows how hard it is to stop online piracy. On one side, you have LaLiga, trying to protect the content, and on the other, you've got Cloudflare. They want to build a better internet, right? Part of that is protecting legitimate websites. It's like a clash of priorities, and the stakes are high.
Okay, so let's go back a bit. LaLiga has been super aggressively blocking IP addresses to try and stop people from streaming their matches illegally. Their main target. Cloudflare. Why Cloudflare?
Well, Cloudflare offers a bunch of services, right? DDoS protection content delivery networks to tons of websites. They basically act like a shield keeping websites online and running smoothly.
But LaLiga is saying they're shielding pirate websites too.
That's their claim. They're saying Cloudflare knows about these illegal streaming sites and that blocking their IP addresses is the only way to stop them.
But Cloudflare is pushing back, right? They're not just letting this happen.
Oh, absolutely. Cloudflare says LaLiga's tactics are clumsy and ineffective. They say they're causing a ton of collateral damage. Blocking whole IP addresses means that thousands of legitimate websites totally unrelated to piracy are getting blocked too.
So it's like shutting down an entire library just because one person might be photocopying a book illegally. That seems a little extreme.
Yeah, it's a good analogy. And there are real consequences. Cloudflare says online shocks, educational platforms, news sites, even ChatGPT have been disrupted because of these blocks.
Whoa, ChatGPT too. That's crazy to think that a tool people use for everything from writing poems to coding is somehow caught up in LaLiga's battle against football piracy. What does LaLiga have to say about all this? About all this collateral damage?
Well, LaLiga's president, Javier Tebas, says that the IP blocks are selective. He says they only target a small number of users. He even accuses Cloudflare of knowingly protecting illegal stuff like child pornography and scams, all under the cover of cybersecurity. He's been pretty dismissive of anyone who criticizes him. He even calls them freakies, which basically means geeks.
Freakies?
Yeah.
That's kind of harsh. I can see why people are offended. It seems like he's trying to downplay anyone who questions his methods.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes you wonder how LaLiga views anyone who disagrees with them, and if they're even willing to talk about the negative impacts of what they're doing. On the other hand, the people affected by these blocks are really worried. Worried about censorship, disproportionate measures, and internet freedom being eroded.
So we have these two totally different points of view. But how did we even get here? What's making LaLiga do something so drastic?
Well, one thing is this new technology Cloudflare started using. It's called ECH encrypted client. Hello, it's supposed to improve privacy and security by encrypting information about the websites you visit.
So that sounds like a good thing, right? More privacy online.
Definitely. But it also makes it tougher for LaLiga to pinpoint the exact websites that are hosting pirated content. With ECH, they can't see the individual flies, so to speak. So they're resorting to swatting at the whole swarm with this broad IP blocking.
I see. So LaLiga is basically saying ECH is stopping them from effectively fighting piracy. And that their hands are tied.
That's their argument. But the question is, are these really aggressive tactics actually working? And more importantly, are they justified considering the potential harm they're causing to innocent users and businesses? This is where the legal battle gets really interesting.
So this isn't just about technology. It's a legal fight with potentially huge implications for internet freedom. Where does the case stand now?
Well, Cloudflare has filed a lawsuit against LaLiga. They want to overturn the 2022 court ruling that allows these IP blocks. And they're not alone. A group of companies and media outlets have joined their lawsuit. They argue that LaLiga's actions are violating fundamental rights like freedom of expression and information. They point to a similar case with Telegram, where a Spanish judge said that blocking the entire platform was way too much and out of proportion.
Okay, so there's a lot at stake here, but I'm still trying to understand the tech side of things. Can you break down ECH a little more? How does it actually work?
Sure. Basically, when you go to a website, your browser sends a message to the server. It's called a client hello message, and it includes info about the website you're trying to access. In the past, this info was sent without any encryption, meaning Anyone monitoring your internet traffic could see what websites you were visiting.
So like someone looking over your shoulder while you're browsing the internet. Not very private.
Exactly. But ECH encrypts this client hello message. It hides the website you're trying to visit from anyone snooping, including your internet service provider. It's a big win for privacy.
But LaLiga says this encryption is a problem for them because it stops them from seeing the specific websites hosting pirated content.
Right, and that's the core of their argument for using these wider IP blocks. They say they have no other way to fight piracy, but critics say this is just an excuse to overreach, and that there are other, less intrusive ways to deal with the problem.
This is getting complicated. So on one hand, we have ECH, a technology that makes it harder to track our online activity, which is good for privacy. And on the other hand, we have LaLiga saying this same technology is helping piracy, and that's why they're doing these controversial blocks. What happens next?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? This case could set a precedent for how we balance intellectual property rights with internet freedom, especially in a world where privacy and security are becoming more and more important. It's a complicated issue with no easy answers.
Yeah, it's a really tricky situation.
Yeah.
And while all this legal stuff is happening, there are real people being hurt by these IP blocks. Imagine like you're a small business owner in Spain and you rely on Cloudflare. Suddenly your website's down, you're losing customers, and you don't even know why.
Yeah.
And you probably don't have the money to fight LaLiga in court.
It's like a total David and Goliath situation, but the Davids are the ones getting crushed.
Exactly. And that's where this idea of a proportionate response comes in. Even if we say, okay, maybe Cloudflare is accidentally protecting some pirate websites, is blocking millions of IP addresses and affecting all these innocent people and businesses, really a proportionate response.
Yeah, I get it. It's like using a sledgehammer to crack a walnut. But is LaLiga even getting what they want? Are they actually stopping people from watching illegal streams? That's the big question. And the evidence suggests it's not really working. People who know their way around tech are easily getting around these blocks with VPNs. VPNs hide your IP address so it looks like you're browsing from somewhere else.
It's like a never-ending game of cat and mouse.
Yeah.
The pirates always find new ways to stay ahead.
It often feels that way. And while LaLiga is focused on these really aggressive tactics, the pirates are probably already coming up with new ways to share their streams.
So it seems like these IP blocks are doing a lot of harm. They might even be violating people's rights, and they're not even that good at stopping piracy. What are the alternatives?
Well, some people think LaLiga should focus on making their content easier to get and more affordable. If legal streaming options are good and don't cost a ton, fewer people might be tempted to watch illegal streams.
That makes sense. Make it easier and cheaper to do the right thing.
Yeah. And it's not just about price, it's about making the whole experience really easy. So it's simple to find and watch the matches you want on any device.
But shouldn't we also be teaching people about this stuff? Help them understand the impact of what they do online.
Absolutely. We need to raise awareness about piracy. It doesn't just hurt big companies like LaLiga, it hurts the whole creative world.
So people need to understand that watching an illegal stream could actually be hurting the people who make the content they enjoy.
Exactly. It's about respecting creative work online. And it's about teaching people about the dangers of going to untrustworthy websites. Pirate sites are often full of malware and other security threats that can steal your information.
So it's not just about doing the right thing, it's about staying safe online.
Exactly. It's a complex problem that needs a complex solution. Blocking IP addresses might seem like a quick fix, but it's really short-sighted, and it ignores how complicated the issue really is.
This whole thing really shows how technology can be good and bad at the same time. We have ECH making online privacy better, but then LaLiga saying it's helping pirates.
It's a perfect example of how technology moves faster than the law and our ideas about what's right and wrong. We're always trying to catch up and figure out how to use these powerful tools in a responsible way.
And in this case, it seems like LaLiga might be going too far. But what happens next? What could happen because of this legal battle?
Well, the court's decision could change how the internet is governed, not just in Spain, but everywhere. If Cloudflare wins, it could set a precedent. It could limit how much private organizations can control what people can see online.
So this case could have a huge impact way beyond just football.
Absolutely. It raises fundamental questions about who controls the internet, about how we balance different rights and interests in the digital age, and about what role technology should play in how we access information.
Wow, that's a lot to think about. But while all this is happening, what can regular internet users do? Are we just stuck in the middle of this fight between big tech and powerful organizations?
Not at all. Like we said before, educating yourself is really important. Learn how technologies like ECH work, what IP blocking means, and why we need a balanced approach to online content rules. That will help you make informed choices and participate in these important conversations.
So we're not powerless.
Right.
We can use our voices and our choices to make the internet a better place.
Exactly. And remember, the internet is always changing. New challenges and opportunities pop up all the time, so it's important to stay informed, think critically, and fight for a free and open internet.
It feels like we're at a turning point here, not just for football fans, but for anyone who uses the internet. What does it say if, like, one private organization can decide what we can and can't see online?
Yeah, it's a dangerous path. It makes you think about what governments and courts should be doing about online content. Should they be on the side of the content owners who say they're losing money because of piracy, or should they be protecting users' rights to access information freely?
It's a tough balance to strike. But it sounds like this case could change how we think about intellectual property online.
Oh, absolutely. The old ways of distributing content and protecting copyrights just don't work as well on the internet. Content can be copied and shared so easily these days.
So we need to figure out new ways to encourage creativity and protect creators' rights, but without doing things that feel like censorship or that stop innovation.
Exactly. And that's why people are talking about different models. Some experts think we should move away from traditional copyright and look at things like open access or Creative Commons licensing.
Those are interesting ideas. But are they realistic? Can we really expect creators to just give their work away for free?
Well, it's not about making everything free. It's about finding new ways to balance what creators and consumers want. Like, look at Patreon. It lets fans directly support the creators they love. It creates a better, more sustainable connection between them.
Yeah, that's a cool model. Fans can become like patrons of the arts.
Exactly. And it shows that creative work isn't just about money. It's about recognition, connecting with an audience, and creating something meaningful.
This has been a really interesting deep dive. But honestly, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed by all of this. It's so complex. Where do we even start to deal with these issues?
I know it can feel like a lot, but remember, even small things can make a difference. Start by learning more. Read articles, listen to podcasts, talk to people about these issues.
To basically be an informed citizen.
Exactly. The more you know about the internet, the better choices you can make about what you watch and what platforms you use.
What about contacting our elected officials, letting them know that we care about this stuff?
Absolutely. Tell your representatives you want policies that protect internet freedom, encourage innovation, and make sure online content is regulated fairly.
This whole situation has shown how important it is to pay attention, stay informed, and speak up for the kind of internet we want.
I completely agree. The future of the internet isn't set in stone. We all have a role in shaping it through our choices, our actions, and our voices.
So to our listener, remember this. The internet is powerful, but it's up to us to use it wisely and responsibly. Stay curious, stay engaged, and never stop questioning the way things are.
En la red del fútbol hay una lucha. Cloudflare es el escudo de las páginas que lo roban. Pero yo estoy furioso porque Tebas, director de la Liga, está jodiendo internet. Los partidos de nuestra liga española son transmitidos ilegalmente por sitios web ocultos. Con Cloudflare como manto protector, la justicia parece imposible alcanzar. Tebas impone bloqueos con un dedo en el cielo, controlando la red y creando confusión. Quiere hacer de internet su cibercotijo, pero sus acciones no logran nada, arreglar nada, solo más tristeza. El director de la liga está a cargo y con él impone bloqueos en la web sin descanso. Cree que controlando Cloudflare puede acabar con las retransmisiones ilegales y el caos que esto genera. Los partidos se transmiten a miles en lugares donde no deberían tener acceso. La pasión por el deporte está siendo vendida a los más poderosos y escrúpulos. Tebas impone bloqueos con un dedo en el cielo, controlando la red y creando confusión. Quiere hacer de internet su cibercotijo, pero sus acciones no logran nada, arreglar nada, solo más tristeza. Solo más tristeza. De que intenta proteger nuestro deporte, pero algo tiene que cambiar en este juego sin reglas. Internet es para todos y debe ser justo, no un cortijo controlado por las cadenas de los poderosos. Tebas impone bloqueos con un dedo en el cielo. Javier Tebas,